What's up, guys? I thought I'd share just a kind of crazy story about how God sometimes works in weird ways, about how like things are arranged in your life. So, just out of coincidence today, I was going to my dad's to, obviously he passed and we're moving out lots of bags and hauling stuff off. And out of coincidence, this morning I was like, I don't know why it crossed my mind. I'm just weird, I guess, or maybe it was God. I'm not sure. But I was like, I always carry a Bible with me in my backpack. So I always have a Bible with me. But I was like, in my truck, I need to put I have this little, like, palm-sized Bible, NIV version. And I was like, yeah, I want to keep that with me. That way, because I'm weird, but sometimes there's traffic and you're sitting at red lights or sitting somewhere stupid or whatever, and you just have a couple of minutes. And so I put it in there earlier this morning. And, later this morning I was getting gas, so I'm sitting at the pump. You got 3 to 5 minutes, so I read like a chapter of Psalms, and I was like, man, I like having this Bible in my truck. So that's kind of the backstory. So I put a Bible in my truck this morning for the first time ever, an additional small Bible, because I always keep a Bible with me anyway. And so I'm hauling stuff, and I drive to my dad's house, and there's this road called Cherry Street in Knoxville, it's a rougher road. It leads over to a poorer part of town, Magnolia Avenue, some of those, homes over there. And so it's a little bit more of a dangerous area. So typically I don't take that exit. I drive past it, even though I do carry a pistol, so I'm not too worried about it, but I also don't take silly risk, right? So I drive past it usually, even though that adds like 5 to 10 minutes, and then drive back to avoid it. So I take my first load, and as I was driving there this morning, I was like, there's usually a dude over there that's like asking for money on Cherry Street, but you never know if it's like legit or is it, I don't know. You never know. Is it one of those folks that they drive somewhere, they park, they're just getting money, and they're not even really homeless? Or is it something that's potentially dangerous? They're scouting out cars or situations. You never know. So I was driving this morning, and I thought about taking it just to give someone a little bit of money, because I'm like, well, I guess I could bless someone today. But part of me was like, Stan, you're too big-hearted. You're just thinking that, like, don't take the risk. Like, I overthink everything. You guys know me. So I drive past it, do the first load. Well, it just so happens as I get the first load done that I'm like running. The day just kind of got away from me. And the dump that I need to take all the bags to closes at 3. So going back for the second trip, I have no choice but to take the shorter option if I'm going to make it to the dump in time. So I'm taking the more dangerous exit, and I'm pretty sure there's going to be a dude standing there. He's always there. I feel like there's always either that guy or someone else. And I've never given money in the past to this particular person. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't at other exits, but not this one. It just doesn't usually feel very safe. And so I'm like, I kind of smile inside because it's kind of like drizzling and raining. And I'm like, okay, God, you got me. Like, you made me take this exit. So I will take that as confirmation that I'm going to bless this guy. And before I can even see the exit, I'm like, well, if he's there, it's drizzling / sprinkling. Maybe he won't be there anyway. But I pull out money ahead of time. And then like the Marine side of me is like, be smart about it. Watch his hands. Make sure there's nothing weird. Well, then as I'm going down the exit, I see that there is a guy there and that he has a dog. And I remember I once saw a guy there with a dog, and I was pissed because I don't like people who like take a dog to, it's almost like a way to get more money, because people see a dog there and they're going to give money. And I was just like, oh, he's got a dog. And immediately, like, it hits me, and I assume it's God, but it's almost like, wait, why would a guy who's trying to con people take a dog to literally one of the most, more dangerous, if not most dangerous exits in Knoxville? There's almost no one over there that has much money. Like, think, Stan, that doesn't make any sense. And I'm like, yeah, that's true. That doesn't make sense. So maybe he's just really a homeless guy. So I've got like $10 out, and I'm like, well, I will give him $10. It ain't much. But most importantly, I want to look him in the eyes. I want to have a conversation with him, because I've seen a lot of pastors post videos of when they go to help homeless people. And one of the things you see more than anything else is that no one talks to these people. And I'm like, I'm just going to give him $10 and like have a real conversation. So I get pulled up. There's like one truck in front of me, and I've got my wallet, my cash already out of my wallet. And so I roll the window down. He starts walking toward me with the little dog. And I notice he's wearing these coveralls. They're stained. And I can tell pretty clearly he's actually homeless. And I was like, hey, brother, I just want to bless you. And I hand him $10. And he said, thanks, man. And he says, I don't remember the exact order of his words, but I believe one of the first things he says, he goes to take it to leave. That's right. And I'm like, you hanging in there okay? Because I'm like, I'm going to have a conversation. I'm going to give this guy a conversation, if nothing else, plus $10. And I plan to just say, God bless you at the end. And he's like, yeah, man, it's tough. He said, and I realized at this point we're finally like really meeting eyes, locking eyes. So it's like a conversation. It's not a distrust thing between the two of us. And he says, yeah, man, I'm hanging in there, but they took my tent. So I'm sleeping up under the bridge. And I had noticed that Knoxville, like many cities, doesn't want homeless people anywhere. So they've put under the tent, or under the bridge, which is like a great place to stay dry, they've put all these concrete barriers to prevent anyone from they filled in the area. Like there's nowhere to stay under there. He's like, yeah, man, I'm trying to live under the tent, under the bridge, but it's kind of hard. And he's like, unfortunately, someone took my tent. He's like, you got an old tent by chance? He's like, that's what I really need. And I'm like, man, I don't have a tent. And in my mind, I literally think, well, I guess I could go buy one, but I overthink things, and I'm immediately like thinking the only thing I know about is like a 4-person hunting tent or something at Academy or something. And I was like, well, man, I'd go get you one, but I'm not sure where to get one off the top of my head, because literally on this poor side of town, there's no Academy. I don't even think there's a Walmart over there. Like I'd have to drive like to West Knoxville to go to Academy to get a tent. So I'm like, I don't have a tent. I said, but let me bless you a little bit more. And so I get him a little more cash, and I say, it just kind of comes out. I'm like, I'd go get you one, but I was like, my dad passed, and I'm hauling off stuff, and I got to get there, haul some stuff off, and take it to the dump. And he said, oh, your dad passed? I'm sorry, man. I'm like, yeah, it's okay. And I say, he's in heaven, because obviously you guys know my dad was a deacon, a huge man of faith. I said, he's in heaven, so it's all good, man. He's like, I lost my mom a few years ago. She's in heaven too. He said, I know exactly what you mean. And I said, well, good. I was like, well, God bless you, brother. And he said, and I don't know exactly if there was a word or two before this, but at one point he says, after I say, God bless you, he's like, it's just hard out here. Like, he's like, the carnal mind, it's just hard to say mentally strong. And as soon as he says carnal mind, I'm like, whoa, like that's a Christian word. I don't think anyone says the word carnal mind unless you know something about church or whatever. And I realize obviously he's not faking using those words or anything, because how else would you know the word carnal mind? And I was like, yeah, man. And as a background, like I read the Bible all the time for strength, for encouragement, for like, it's the only thing that keeps me going half the time. And I'm like, I said, I totally get it, man. I said, do you have a Bible? And his eyes jump like this big. He's like, no, man, I ain't got he's like, do you have a Bible? And by then the light is turning green. There's like 4 cars behind me. So I've been talking to this guy for like, a minute and a half, 2 minutes, maybe a little less. I don't know. Time runs together. And guess what I had? I literally had that little NIV Bible that I had been reading earlier at the gas station in my truck. And I can tell the cars behind me are impatient. And for a millisecond, I think about it, because I really like that Bible, even though it was like $7 or $8. But I've had it for a while, and I had, a couple bookmarks in it. And, but like instantly, I'm like, I'm supposed to give this dude this Bible. Like, I'm about to give this dude the greatest gift ever. I'm like, dude, actually, I've got a Bible. And I hand it to him, I'm like, God bless you. He's like, oh, man, that is so... And I just see this guy clutch this Bible in a way that is hard to explain. And the hope on this drizzly, rainy, cold, it's not that cold now, but like, we're in January. It's going to get cold in Knoxville. And I just see like that glimmer of hope. And I'm like, holy cow. Like, it's crazy how God works sometimes. So, yeah, I thought I'd share that. Because, like, what are the chances I'd put an extra Bible in my truck for the first time in 3 years of a reactivated Christian journey? So I literally put a second Bible in there today. And it's on this day that I hand it to a dude. on a cold, sprinkly, rainy day. I think God works sometimes in ways that it's hard to like wrap our minds around it, but like it's such a beautiful thing. And now I get to order another Bible, and I'm like, I think I'll order like 4 or 5 Bibles and keep them in my truck. And maybe now, instead of just handing people a little bit of cash, I'll say God bless you or something, or drop a clue, or ask them, do you have a Bible? Do you want a Bible? And I'll throw them that too. So anyway, that's the video. Hope you weren't looking for any kind of super viral content. That's usually not what I put out, but I'm real, and it felt good to give a dude $7 or $8 Bible, because I'm like, it's a $7 or $8 Bible, but if you've read the Bible much, like, man, it is like God speaks to you through the Bible. Like, clearly that guy can read, and clearly he wanted a Bible, and I just imagine him like going under that bridge or wherever he's staying right now, trying to keep the Bible clean. And they were pretty nice older overalls, but keeping the Bible inside those somewhat rainproof overalls. And I'm imagining how he would cherish such a thing. So anyway, I'll probably go visit that guy again at some point, and it felt good, man. God is good. God is arranging our steps, arranging things for us, and it's not just homeless people that live on Cherry Street. It's all of us. Like, he's arranging jobs, relationships, so many things, and so many times we give up hope. And I'll bet that guy on this drizzly, rainy day was pretty low on hope, and it felt freaking amazing to do my little, very small part. And like I said, I may do more at some point. I may think on the tent some. I may at some point, now that I realize he's there all the time, I may like collect a little money on Venmo or something from some folks, and we'll go bless him or something. So if you guys have ideas, let me know. We'll figure out how to do it. All right, love you guys.